In the headlines, reactions trails ban on live political programs in Kano. Southeast reps demand investigation, Olayede's resignation over mass jam failure. UNICEF sounds alarm on escalating malnutrition crisis in Northeast. And on the foreign scene, Israel to allow limited food supply into Gaza to avert hunger crisis. Hello and welcome to News Updates on Trust TV. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. And now on the news in full. In Kano State, live political programs have long served as vital platforms for grassroots political engagement. However, concerns have grown in recent times over the misuse of these platforms to launch personal attacks, spread misinformation, and engage in character assassination. These prompted media executives, with the backing of the government and other stakeholders, to suspend all live political programming on radio. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim has been following the developments and now reports.
Live political programs broadcast across more than 20 radio stations in Kano State have played a critical role in deepening grassroots political participation. Recently, there has been growing concern over the alleged misuse of these platforms.
If you are following events here in Kano, you see that virtually every day is like election eve. People are always constantly, talking, and some have gone overboard in terms of expressing their views.
Civil society groups operating in the state warn that inflammatory content on radio is fueling tension and insecurity, particularly in suburban communities.
You can see that even they are attacking the physical appearance of some people. They call people some names, bad names, and animal names. They will put it on somebody, and then this instability mostly is happening in the community, not even in the city, so in the community, and it's going down there. And when there is instability, when there is confusion in the political party, you cannot even you cannot say that there is going to be a credible vote.
Amid concerns, media executives convened a meeting with key stakeholders.
In attendance was the State Officer of MBC and the Commissioner of Information. So we had a resolution at that time. All the members of the Heads of Media Forum here in Kano, almost 90% were present. We took a bold decision that let us suspend live political program on our broadcast stations.
While some applaud the move as necessary to curb incitement and safeguard community harmony, the suspension has sparked criticisms, with the state government facing backlash.
Live political programs are banned. If you do that, I want to tell the state government, if you do that, you are telling people that you are afraid of the opposition. You are afraid. It means you are trying to tell people they are afraid you have a skeleton in the cupboard, which I believe probably you don't have a skeleton in the cupboard. There are so many stages you can stop that, and easily it will be stopped. But you cannot just ban everything just because of that. You can sanitize it. You can bring system into it. You can look at the whole system and see how you can be able to review it and strengthen it.
We were surprised to see that where it was Kano State government that banned political program. It was not true. It was our collective resolution at Heads of Media Forum of Kano State that took that decision to revive or to improve the quality of broadcasting in Kano.
Nonetheless, some voices, including experts, advocate for regulation rather than outright suspension, arguing that political programs can be moderated responsibly without stifling free expression.
What the government ought to do is to highlight the issue of libel laws in Nigeria and let the media houses be aware of it. And we know NBC is the one that regulates this. So you can highlight these issues to the media, so that whoever wants to express his or her own opinion, his attention will be drawn to that. That provided he goes overboard, there are consequences. But by the time you say you are going to, edit things, I think it's a step towards dictatorial tendencies. So that is the danger that we may likely fall into if we allow it to be free for all in such situation.
Moving forward, the challenge for all stakeholders will be crafting a solution that encourages responsible broadcasting while preserving diverse political voices. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
Borno State Governor Babagana Umara Zulum has appealed to the federal government to deploy decisive strategies that would ensure that Marte town does not fall to Boko Haram or ISWAP insurgents. Zulum, who was actively involved in coordinating security logistics till late in the night of Saturday, undertook a tour to assess the challenges faced in Marte while also exploring sustainable solutions to foster stability. Before Zulum's arrival, Marte was completely deserted following a Boko Haram attack last Friday, with thousands taking refuge in Dikwa town. Speaking to journalists on Sunday, the governor emphasized that his visit to Marte was to foster community cooperation, resilience, and continuous support to the security agencies. According to Zulum, about 20,000 people left Marte for Dikwa, saying this huge number is a threat, as allowing them to stay in the camp may make most of the younger ones become vulnerable to recruitment by the insurgents. The governor reiterated his commitment to supporting security agencies in attaining lasting peace in Borno State. In a significant blow to notorious terrorist leader Bello Turji, his key ally Alhaji Shaudu Alku has been confirmed killed in an airstrike. The air component of Operation Fansanyama conducted the strike on May 18, 2025, targeting terrorists near Tunfa Primary School in Isa local government area of Sokoto State. Alku, invited from Niger Republic for a meeting, died alongside several men and unconfirmed commanders. This development is part of ongoing efforts to disrupt terrorist operations in the region. Gunmen suspected to be armed robbers have invaded a private radio station, Rhythm 94.7 FM in Yenagua, carting away valuables including mobile phones, recorders, and operational gadgets belonging to staff on duty. Trust TV gathered that the gunmen broke into the station situated at Swali community in Yenagua, the state capital, around 4:40 p.m. on Saturday and returned the next day. Though no life was lost during the operation, staff members of the station are said to be traumatized. The leadership of the Nigeria Union of Journalists (NUJ) Bayelsa State Council has condemned the attack. The NUJ, in a statement by the State Council Chairman Tonye Yemoliga and Secretary Stanley Imbi, noted that the attack is an assault on the entire media family in Bayelsa State and an attack on press freedom. They enjoyed the state security apparatus, especially the Commissioner of Police, to fish out the perpetrators of the crime and bring them to book. They urged the Commissioner of Police to station a patrol van around the media house, as is the case in several strategic points in Yenagua because of the isolated location of the radio station. In other news, the Joint Action Committee of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Allied Institutions, NASU, have rejected the recent distribution formula adopted for the disbursement of the 50 billion naira approved by the federal government for university-based unions. The 50 billion naira is to be shared among SANU, NASU, and the National Association of Academic Technologists, NAT. In a statement, the non-academic unions expressed disappointment that 80% of the allocation was given solely to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, leaving only 20% to be shared among SANU, NASU, and NAT. They said the lopsided arrangement is grossly unfair, provocative, totally unacceptable, and capable of creating industrial disharmony, thereby further worsening the teaching-non-teaching dichotomy in Nigerian universities. The unions further lamented that the latest attempt to diminish their role and worth through the inequitable distribution is an injustice that they won't accept in silence. The Lagos state government says it will begin the full enforcement of the ban on single-use plastics on July 1st. The Commissioner for Environment, Tokunbo Wahab, disclosed this in a statement on X on Monday. Wahab noted that within the space of almost 18 months, the government had a series of stakeholders' engagements with marketers and producers of these products. The state government in January 2024 banned the use of styrofoam across the state, a decision that elicited reactions from residents, especially traders involved in the sale of the product. But the commissioner said the government had given ample time to align with global best practices, noting that what is unacceptable elsewhere cannot become standard in Lagos. Now, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has warned that over 500,000 children in the Northeast region are at risk of malnutrition due to the diversion and illegal sale of free nutritional supplies. This was revealed during a one-day meeting with stakeholders in Maiduguri aimed at addressing the misuse of therapeutic food and other life-saving nutrition commodities. UNICEF highlighted that 50% of child deaths are linked to malnutrition and stunted growth, with the widespread diversion of nutrition supplies being a significant contributor to child mortality. The UNICEF Maiduguri Chief of Field Office, John, said if the menace persisted, it could exacerbate the humanitarian crisis in the Northeast, while the continued denial of nutrition commodities could lead to more deaths among children in conflict-affected communities. He appealed to security agencies to take action.
Action from the government, action from the transporters, never to transport anything of nutrition commodities which are not going directly without a way bill. Action from the traders not to sell, refusing to sell. Action from those who are buying not to buy. Don't buy is free. Receive, take it is free. Action from the health workers not to sell, not to divert the supplies. Action from everyone involved. Everyone. We are going to visit the law in the state and criminalize this issue. Whoever being caught selling these malnutrition commodities that are being supplied to us by the donor partners will be punished.
Now, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have arrested a 29-year-old man, Ismail Isa, with an AK-47 rifle and 2 magazines hidden in a maize sack on the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway. In a statement, NDLEA said in Taraba, 5,350 pills of tramadol and diazepam were seized from a 22-year-old suspect, while 198 kilograms of cannabis was recovered in Jigawa. In Niger, a car carrying 143 kilograms of cannabis was intercepted, with 2 suspects arrested. In Nasarawa, 594.8 kilograms of cannabis was seized from a 60-year-old man, while 67.5 kg was recovered in Lagos. NDLEA also continued its WADA drug abuse awareness campaigns in schools across Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, Osun, and Rivers State. This is news updates on Trust TV coming up ahead. FCTA reaffirms ban on commercial motorcycles, says current operations temporary and unauthorized. This and many more when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back from the break. In case you're just joining, this is News Update on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. Reactions trails ban on live political programs in Kano. And moving on to more stories, the Southeast Caucus in the House of Representatives has demanded the resignation of the Registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Ishak Oleyede, over what it described as a catastrophic institutional failure in the conduct of the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. In a statement on Monday, the caucus, led by Honorable Igariwe Enwo, criticized JAMB for technical glitches that affected nearly 380,000 candidates, many of whom are now required to receive the exam. The lawmakers noted that all 5 southeastern states were significantly impacted. They condemned JAMB's response as grossly inadequate, citing poor communication, scheduling conflicts with ongoing WAEC examinations, and short notice for the receipt, which caused undue trauma to the students and their families. The Directorate of Road Traffic Services in the FCT says the use of commercial motorcycles in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, either at the city center or in its suburbs and satellite towns, is temporary as it is not captured in the FCT master plan. The Assistant Director, Information and Head Public Relations of the Directorate, Kalu Emetu, made this known in an exclusive interview with Trust TV's Noel Sampson on the registration of the motorcycles in the FCT. The report.
According to Emetu, as part of the clampdown on the use of commercial motorcycles, which has been linked to insecurity, theft, and other sundry crimes, the FCT administration on April 30th, 2025, destroyed 601 motorcycles impounded for violating traffic regulations in Abuja. He spoke further on the reason behind the classification of motorcycles, as well as enforcement of compliance to rules governing the sector in the territory.
When we talk about the city center, they are not supposed to be there, but you still see a lot of them, despite all the efforts we are making. So it's a question of people deliberately disobeying the law. It's not as if the enforcement is not good enough. We are doing the much, not only the directorate, law enforcement agencies are doing a lot to ensure that we keep to that law. It's been difficult, but efforts are still being made.
He also cleared the air on whether the agency is registering commercial motorcycles in the FCT.
There is no provision for them to operate in the territory. We say we only gave them time to remain in the area council. Registering them is a way of saying you have been allowed to operate. So we stopped registering them. We stopped it some years ago. The reason, just like I told you, is for them not to feel that they are free to operate in the territory. With time, they will be asked to keep away from the territory.
Checks at Galadimawa, a satellite town in the FCT where the ban on motorcycles has been effective, residents there had divergent views on the effects of the ban.
The other side where affect us, we say, keke na what would you use? You understand? Now just straight road. But when we use bike, it enter at least some area. You understand? But in the part of security, where you help us, we say, at least, even if they steal anything from inside Galadmawa, you know, if you just take and run with leg like that again. But then, way back they operate, we don't know good or bad bike.
Well, I made them bring these people back. You understand? Because get some place where keke no go reach there, but bike go carry you reach that side. You know, say everybody they find the thing where go fit in family or distance. Made them bring them back. The thing affect us well.
Nothing those bike people they do mostly. At least any small change like this, they don't come on knife choke you. Before you know, they don't keep AC. At least we don't even see the occasion. Nobody say we don't even witness. Even for this Galadima self, we don't witness some of the occasion 1 or 2 times. Now even the last one where they stop bike said now because of say they chook person knife, now make where they stop bike. Even since where they stop bike say ask for me, I'm happy. Even this keke will be say with the enter now, at least it's okay, it's even convenience for everybody.
The FCT administration's decision to ban motorcycles in the city center stems for concerns about insecurity and the use of motorcycles by criminal elements, as motorcycles has been used by armed bandits, kidnappers, and other criminals to facilitate their activities. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Governor Inuwa Yahaya of Gombe State has warned intending pilgrims to the 2025 Hajj from the state against acts capable of denting the image of the country. Yahaya gave the warning while bidding farewell to the intending pilgrims on Sunday in Gombe. The governor, who was represented by the secretary to the state government, SSG Ibrahim Njodi, urged them to stay away from unpatriotic fellows who engage in drug peddling. According to him, the penalty for engaging in illicit drugs in Saudi Arabia is death, adding that anyone caught will not escape the penalty. The governor also cautioned the pilgrims to beware of being used as conduit pipes for any illicit trade without their knowledge, adding that Saudi Arabia holds strict laws against drug trafficking. Yahaya also urged them to demonstrate a sense of patriotism by obeying constituted authorities and adhering to the laid-down procedures. And now in business, the Depot and Petroleum Product Marketers Association of Nigeria, DAPMAN, says its members currently rely on the Dangote Petroleum Refinery for premium motor spirit PMS, as the refineries owned by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, are not producing sufficient quantities of petrol. DAPMAN Executive Secretary Olufemi Adewole stated that while members are ready to lift products from the Dangote refinery, they have been unable to do so in bulk as the facility prioritizes gantry-level distribution and selective marketing. He explained that NNPCL's Port Harcourt and Warri refineries are producing mostly naphtha, not petrol, making them unsuitable for DAPMAN's supply needs. He added that members prefer to source locally but may resort to importing if necessary. Although discussions with the Dangote refinery are ongoing, Adewole said depot owners want fair pricing and the ability to load vessels in bulk of up to 25,000 metric tons for effective nationwide distribution. Despite reports by the NNPCL last year that the Port Harcourt refinery had resumed operations at 70% capacity, producing various petroleum products, including naphtha, industry data from April indicates it has been operating below 40%. Meanwhile, the Warri refinery has been shut down since January due to safety concerns. Now away from Nigeria, after a nearly 3-month-long blockade of humanitarian aid in Gaza, Israel says it will allow a basic amount of food into the enclave in a bid to avoid a starvation crisis. The announcement comes as Israel expanded new ground operations under the name of Gideon's Chariots in Gaza. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his cabinet was acting at the recommendation of the IDF to prevent a hunger crisis, which they say would endanger their offensive. Authorities estimate that nearly 500,000 Palestinians in Gaza are already living in catastrophic levels of hunger and face possible starvation. Food security experts had warned that Gaza will likely fall into famine if Israel doesn't lift its blockade and stop its military campaign. A UN-backed report has added to the chorus of alarm, warning that 1 in 5 people in Gaza are facing starvation. And in sports, Flying Eagles captain Daniel Bameyi has been named in the 2025 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations team of the tournament. Bameyi scored once in 6 appearances for the 7-time champions at the biennial competition. The 19-year-old played every minute of the Flying Eagles' 6 games in Egypt. The centre-back was named man of the match in the Flying Eagles' second game of the tournament against Tunisia. It will be recalled that the Bielsa United player was also named in team of group stage. Champions South Africa and Morocco dominated the selection with 4 players each. Coach of the tournament honours went to South Africa's Raymond Ndaka. And with that, we wrap up news updates on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all social media platforms for more programs, news and documentaries. I am Dorcas Yakub Zala. Goodbye.